Hey everybody, just wanted to give you a little insight here into what I've been working on as far as replacing the infotainment, or at least the navigation system in my 2009 V8 Vantage. I've been looking on the message boards and watching the efforts of other people, and several of them have been kind enough to answer questions for me and get me started on all of this, but my goals are a little different than some of the ones that are in the message boards currently. For example, I don't really care about maintaining the original navigation system. To me, it's pretty much worthless. These built-in systems are always out of date. Even if you buy maps today, they're probably 2 years old. And I just don't use it that often anyway. I'm more interested in getting infotainment, so being able to use CarPlay in my car. So this is the setup I'm working on. I've got the AT065 TN14 screen, which is the 6.5 800 by 480, I believe, screen. It's an upgraded screen from what we have in our cars today, but it is the right size. I also have a capacitive touch overlay on it. So capacitive touch is important because if you use a resistive touch, you often don't get multi-touch, so you can't do things like zooming. Swiping is more difficult with the resistive screen, things like that. They're perfectly good for hitting buttons and icons, but other things are not so great, and they tend to be plastic, so those will tend to degrade the clarity of the image, whereas this is a glass screen and shouldn't give me those problems. So this right here is the little controller for the capacitive touchscreen. It interfaces through USB. I've also got an HDMI controller board here for the LCD. This is the standard board that comes with these things, but you'll see it's got VGA, it's got a normal, AV input, a bunch of things that we don't really need here. And I wanted to go as small as possible, so I switched out for this board, which is only HDMI. It's a lot thinner because it doesn't have those big, huge ports on it. And so this gives me a lot more room to, a lot more area inside the speaker or the screen enclosure to use. So hopefully not taking up as much room there. The heart of the system is this. This is a Raspberry Pi 4. I'm running a special version of Android on this, and we'll get to that in a minute. But the thing that allows me to do CarPlay is that they have these USB boxes that allow you to do CarPlay or Android Auto if you are so inclined, and those interface through USB as well. So using the Pi allows me to interface with those, interface with the touchscreen, drive the LCD, which are the three parts we need here. So my plan is to just completely get rid of the original screen. I'm going to probably leave the electronics for the screen in the car so that the car believes the screen is still there. But I'm going to get rid of the screen itself, detach it from the car, leave the electronics in there as kind of a phantom limb. For those that don't want to use a touch screen, you can use something like this, which is a wireless touch pad. It works through Bluetooth and interfaces with the Pi. You can certainly do that. Personally, I'm not going to do that, or I'm going to use it as a backup. I think it's a lot harder to do things here while you're driving than it is to just touch the screen, but that's my personal opinion. Two other things here. So I've got CarPlay here. I also wanted to be able to see a backup camera. So what I did is I bought a Wi-Fi backup camera that interfaces with Android. Since I'm running Android on this will interface with Android through Wi-Fi. So I'll be able to see that on here, and you'll see that in a minute. The other thing is these. This is a Bluetooth TPMS sensor system. So it has a nice little app that shows you your tire temperatures, your tire pressures. Much more useful than the original system that's on the car. And in my case, the original owner of this car had disabled that system anyway with the little plug-in splice thing from, I believe, Red Pants, which is fine. But in my case, I wanted to do something to get that, to be able to see my tire pressures. So I bought this system. We'll see how it works. I don't have those installed on the car yet. Let me flip this light off and above us here so we don't have so much glare. I'll zoom in on the screen here so that you can see the OS as it boots up. Forgive me, I'll get things focused here. And we'll turn it on, and I'll flip off this light. And you can be able to see the interface that we put together here. In this case, like I said, I'm running a version of Android called Lineage OS. The latest version of Android runs pretty nicely on the Pi 4. I tried this first with the Pi 3 that I had sitting around, and I never could get Lineage to run on the Pi 3 that I have. So I went ahead and bought a Pi 4 from my local micro center, but there are pretty nice kits available on Amazon as well. So, you know, either way is fine. But the Pi 4 works great, and it seems really snappy with the interface and everything. So let me also plug in my phone while we're here so I can show you how CarPlay works. Get that plugged in. And so the plan here is basically to install this sometime in the spring. I have not torn the car apart yet. It's been cold here where I live. But so far it's been pretty smooth setting up all this hardware and setting up the software. There haven't really been any big gotchas. So you'll see the interface here that I have. I've got 3 apps. I've got this one for CarPlay, which already started because it found my phone connected. So you can see here that we have, you know, the ability to swipe through icons. We have all of the mirroring from the phone. So everything that you'd normally have on your phone, you have here, including music, right? So take your pick, and then you also are able to go back to the car interface by hitting that piece there. This screen looks a little not great today. It's getting some interference. I'll have to figure out where that's from. Might be because I have this plugged in. Let's see. No, might be the power supply, but in any case, looks a little rougher today than it normally does. So that's CarPlay. We also have this app, which takes you to the backup camera. So in this case, I need to connect to the Wi-Fi, and I have this so it connects to my home Wi-Fi, so it's not automatically connecting to the Wi-Fi like it should. But in the car, it'll automatically connect to the Wi-Fi of the camera, so you can see the backup camera with the nice guidelines there. We also have it also has 4 little lights that come on as well, so if your backup lights aren't quite enough, it can shine those as well, giving you a nice view of things when you reverse. And then when you're done, you can just hit the button to go back to the main screen. I may be able to hook up, since my car is an auto shift car, I may be able to hook up the reverse switch to a GPIO on the Pi to automatically trigger the backup camera. I don't know. I may worry about that. I may not. We'll see how far I get here and how this all works to begin with. The last app here is the tire sensor app, and again, I don't have the sensors on the car at this point, but you can see here that it shows you the 4 wheels on your car, and when those sensors are put on the car, it will tell you the temperatures and the pressures on all 4 tires. So far working pretty good. In fact, the hardest thing about this whole setup so far has been getting the background centered. I mean, literally, I've spent more time getting the background, my custom background, to look right in Android than I have getting any of this hardware or software set up. And that's because Android is a piece of turd for that particular thing. It's just terrible. I can't imagine why people have put up with that for so long, but it's bad. It's really bad. So anyway, outside of that, it allows you to have a nice head unit, and it allows me to connect, to CarPlay, which is what my original intention was, which gives me always updated maps because it's connected to the internet, gives me the ability to stream music. I'm going to use the audio port, since my car is a 2009 and has an aux-in jack. I'm going to use the audio port on the Pi to just pump music and sound directly into that audio jack. So I'll probably be disconnecting that and using the hole in the console where that originally was to push through the cable, the cable for my iPhone. But again, I haven't installed this in the car yet. I've just been here the winter when it's cold, just getting all the hardware and software put together, and I think it's going pretty well. So anyway, be interested in comments. It seems like a pretty good setup. We'll see how it all fits when I get to the car. And I'm able to tear things apart here in a couple of months when it's warm. Anyway, have a good one, guys.